I play this game sometimes. Usually I do this on my own, but sometimes with guests who fit the narrative, I like to play this game. It's called propaganda. I basically tell you, and we're going to do it on a NASCAR,
Okay.
for NASCAR. I tell you the most bet on props or at this rate NASCAR drivers for the upcoming race. You're going to tell me what or who you're fading, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's get to it. Propaganda. It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
Great. That's a great cut. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't get to make this all fancy because I just got this email. But these are the most bet on NASCAR drivers right now going into this week's race. Toyota Save Mart 3050. Where is it again?
It is in Sonoma, wine country out in California.
Oh, okay. So I should have gone. So that's my bad. That's my kind of spot. But these are the most bet on ones. So obviously Kyle Larson, he is 6-1. He won last year. Highest ticket, Michael McDowell, Kyle Larson, and Chris Buescher. Highest handle, Shane Van Gisbergen, Michael McDowell, and Chris Buescher. Biggest liability is McDowell, Van Gisbergen, and Kyle Busch. Who are you fading of the public?
I'm the lowest on McDowell out of that group. I think that it stems a lot from what he's been saying. He had an issue in Chicago where he actually won the opening stage, got the lead from SVG to start that race out, and he won the opening stage. He looked really good. Pretty sure SVG was kind of coasting, if I'm reading more into that. So I don't know how legitimate the speed was from McDowell, but he came out and he said that was the entree. Main course is coming in Sonoma. So he kind of called his shot. And he said, okay, I'm going to win this race. I still don't feel amazing about Spire, the team he drives for, on road courses. I think that the team that's done a really good job of improving their speed on big tracks. I haven't seen the road course program for them really, really excel. Justin Haley is a driver on that team who I rate pretty well on road courses. He struggled this year. Carson Osevar, I don't think is that great on road courses. That's not a huge surprise. But McDowell, prior to that stage win in Chicago, wasn't doing a whole lot. Maybe they uncovered something that kind of turned this team around. I'm still skeptical. I want to see a bit more. So he's 10-1 to win, as you mentioned, for this weekend. I have McDowell at 4.4% to win this race. So I'm pretty far off there. I'm also not super in line with the market on SVG. I've got him at 30% to win. So still easily number one in my simulations, but his implied odds are 41.7%. So fading him scares me. I will fade him via betting some outrights on other guys, but actively fading, no dice. Can't do that. I need a big payoff in order to justify betting against McDowell, and that would be via betting outrights. But of those guys, McDowell to me is the one who I am lowest on relative to the public.
Fade the public, Michael McDowell. We fade you. Let's go to what you actually like this weekend. So Christopher Bell to win it all, 21-1. Why?
Again, I need a big payoff. I'm going to bet against Van Gisbergen because, again, I've got him at 30% to win in this race, and it's possible I'm too low. I don't think I am, frankly, because I've bet Van Gisbergen in 2 out of 3 road courses this year. Bet him at COTA, which he did not win. Bet him Mexico City, which he did win. Did not bet him at Chicago. Should have. Last week was pretty close at the opening odds. I had him around 30%. He was around 33% implied, so didn't show value. Couldn't quite bet him, and I was sad as he was dominant in that race. So I don't think I'm too low on SVG, and that allows me to have more faith in the value my model is showing elsewhere. And the chief value is Christopher Bell. Again, 21-1 to win this race. That is despite the fact, mentioned that SVG did not win COTA. That's because Christopher Bell did. He was awesome towards the end of that race, bumped Kyle Busch out. He just raced him pretty respectively, but did get by him in the closing laps to win that race. And then Bell finished second in Mexico City. So first and second, the first 2 road courses. Didn't do as well in Chicago, but had some issues there. And it's also just a weird course relative to what we see in Sonoma. Now, Sonoma is not Bell's best road course. His best finish here is 9th the past 2 years. So he's had a couple wins in road courses. They have not come here, but overall, a very good driver on road courses whose form on road courses this year has been phenomenal. And you're getting him at 21-1. So again, if you're betting someone to win, you need to say, I think this guy can beat SVG. Bell showed that. He did that exactly in COTA and finished second in Mexico City. So I think that Bell has the upside to actually beat Van Gisbergen, and I think that we're getting a massive discount on him at 21-1 just because Sonoma has not been his best road course thus far.
What do you have to say to Earl Burton, who says that Busch just hasn't had it this year?
Well, I think that that's a fair take. However, it's been a bit different on road courses because think back to Circuit of the Americas. I just mentioned that Christopher Bell had to fight his way to get past Kyle Busch in the closing laps in that race. Busch's average running position was second at Circuit of the Americas, had a real chance to win that race. Mexico City, he made a massive mistake and took it out the field, so that happens. Then last week in Chicago, he was running okay, made a pit stop and was trying to flip the stage, and he got caught speeding. So Busch went a lap down and he got the lucky dog, got back in the lead lap. I hadn't finished top 5 in that race. I'm like, oh, well, okay. I guess it's the lost bet. But he rallied. He actually worked his way back up and made a pass in the final lap or second to last lap to wind up finishing 5th in that race. So cashing the tickets via that, and that ability to make up that much ground at a course that hasn't suited him super well in the past in Chicago, I thought that was very impressive. Sonoma is, I think, Busch's best road course. It's either that or Circuit of the Americas, but he's a 2-time winner here. He finished runner-up a couple years ago. He was going to finish top 5 here last year before Ross Chastain spun him on the final lap. So it's a good road course for him. Busch has been very good on road courses overall since joining Richard Childress Racing, and he's had good form on road courses this year when he has not made stupid mistakes running in the rain and, knocking guys off the track. So I think that at road courses specifically, Busch does well. I prefer him top 5, but the top 5 market at FanDuel, he's plus 270 there. That's too short for me personally. If he were to lengthen on FanDuel before practice on Saturday, if you can get him like plus 325, plus 350, 4-1 somewhere in there, then I'd take the top 5 market for Busch versus the outright, because I have more concerns about him beating SVG than I do about Bell. But at current markets at FanDuel, 27-1 for Kyle Busch to me is long enough to overcome, I think, fair concerns about the upside he has shown the past couple seasons.
Yet 3-1 for Ross Chastain is enough for you to take his top 5. So I'm assuming the 3-1 is where you start to bite.
Yeah, that's a good number for me on Chastain. Chastain's actually higher in my model than Busch. He has longer win odds at 30-1, but for whatever reason, Chastain's top 5 odds are longer at 3-1. I have him at 28% for a top 5 because he's been really good on road courses in general, but specifically at Sonoma. 3 years here in the next gen car, and Ross has finished inside the top 10 all 3 of the seasons. Finished top 5 last year. That was a bit fluky because he did dump Busch on the last lap. I bet Busch at Sonoma top 5 last year too. It was very sad when Ross Chastain pulled this, but he did finish top 5 there. He had a decent car in Chicago, which is definitely his worst road course. I bet him top 10 there, and he did finish top 10, but wasn't like phenomenal by any means. But Chastain at Sonoma has been very good and has been a good road course racer overall. Of course, won at COTA back in 2022, and now Trackhouse Racing's road course program trending up via the expertise of Van Gisbergen, who is his teammate. So you get the overall gains within the team. You get Chastain at his second best road course. I think that COTA is better for him, but his second best road course at Sonoma, place he's run well recently. Overall form of road courses this year has been fine for Chastain. It's definitely not blown me away, but it's been okay. It's been good enough though for me to like Chastain. Again, 28% for me for a top 5. Implied odds here are 25%. I'll take that gap. I'm willing to bet Chastain. I would say though, if you want to go with an outright on Chastain, that also is okay. I've got good value in him at 30-1 at FanDuel Sportsbook. So I think there are multiple routes for Chastain, given that he does have upside. He is chaotic. He can definitely bowling ball his way to a win when he wants to.
Hey, I love these names that aren't necessarily the household names, but it's always where you can make your money, especially when the course fits them correctly. Daniel Suarez, top 10, plus 270. I love me a top 10. Why Daniel Suarez at plus 270, and why at less than 3-1 does that work?
Well, I mentioned before that Chastain could be a bowling ball to work his way towards the top 5. Suarez has nothing to lose. He's already lost his job for next year. He needs to find a ride because Trackhouse Racing said they're going to drop him. Connor Zilic probably to come in there. This 18-year-old phenom who can battle Van Gisbergen on road courses. So, like, they're making the right choice. But Daniel Suarez, not a bad driver on road courses. He actually won Sonoma back in 2022, and he's going to be looking for a win because he's in the low 20s or the high 20s in points. He will not make the playoffs without a win, and they're going to be on the optimal strategy, trying to win this race at all costs because they have no other route to the playoffs. And again, Suarez needs to land a ride for next year. So he's won at Sonoma in the past. Hasn't been as good the past couple years. Did finish 14th here last year. He had a really good car at COTA a couple years ago too, won the opening stage and then got back in traffic. He spun, never really recovered from there. So The finishes for Suarez on road courses recently have not been good, especially this year. He's finished really poorly in 2 of those races. But one of those races got wrecked by Zilich on lap 50. Zilich kind of overran a corner and pummeled right into Suarez, who was his teammate in that race. So bad luck there for Suarez. Mexico City just wasn't amazing, despite the fact that's his home track. And then at Chicago last week, got caught up in a crash that was not of his own doing. So I think he's just had bad luck, frankly, and now goes to a course again where he has won in the past and has been overall pretty good on road courses. So Suarez, to me, plus 270, a very fair number. I have him at 31% for his top 10 this week. Implied odds here, 27%. So big enough gap for me to bet on Suarez to get a top 10 at a track that has been good to him in the past.